Cheers.
To the Perfect Bite. Nice non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, apple juice, really. And today we're doing the steak episode.
One beer, piece of steak. Not going to hurt anybody.
Apple juice.
Apple juice, I mean, rather. And remember, we got the mics on, so.
Yeah, we don't have to scream.
You don't have to scream.
Yeah.
So,
see, all of our revenue coming in is we're getting upgrades.
Yeah, these are upgrades. We've been able to go to the Longhorn.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Actually, we're doing the Perfect Bite steak episode, and we had planned on going to the back room in Apopka. Got great reviews, good foodie awards and stuff. I think they were second runner-up in the last foodies, but they're closed on Monday and Tuesday, so we weren't able to go today. And I'm off Sunday, Monday, but. So we're going to do it here at the Longhorn Steakhouse. Actually, there was 3 in the top 20 in the TripAdvisor that are listed, and so we're giving this a go.
Oh, they sponsor TripAdvisor?
No, they don't sponsor TripAdvisor. They probably do, though. But there was a lot of different places that we could have went to, obviously, and I've been to a lot of them. But let's make it clear. Is this not true, Matt?
Yeah, this is. We say this every episode, but it's because we want to be clear. This isn't a review show. This is let's talk about the item at hand. And today the item at hand is steak. Now, we did get some stuffed mushrooms as an appetizer just because I'm a sucker for mushrooms. Stuff them up, I'm a sucker for that. So that's our little appetizer, and yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, too. And see if you agree with me on this. So the many things we disagree on, but probably more we agree on.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say right off the top of my hand that I can think of is the Popeyes chicken versus the Chick-fil-A chicken.
That's another episode.
Leave it in the comments section, because what we're going to do here is we'll have an episode, maybe a short spin-off episode of that.
You know, I have another place on there I might want to try. You might want to try Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's Hot?
Where's that? They're building a new one in Lake Mary, but there's one in Altamont, and there's a couple
like a Nashville Hot?
Yeah, it's really hot.
Because Nashville's known for their hot chicken.
Put it this way. My son, who eats very hot chicken, got the hot, and he couldn't eat it.
Oh.
And he can eat really hot. No, I'm not. Yeah.
Does he like the ghost pepper, too?
It was just too overwhelming.
Listen.
No. You would be okay with the hot, though. I can tell you that already.
Well, I'm on a 9-day streak of ever since Tom left, I've abused myself with ghost pepper sauce and ghost pepper wings.
Here we go on the flapper issue again.
Yeah, they always get brought up, and yeah. So I mean, it did destroy me in various ways, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. A little hard to walk after those 9 days, but
here's what I wanted to say about the steak episode.
Oh, right.
Tell me if this isn't correct. Sometimes it's not so much where you're eating it, but who's cooking it.
100%. Because steak is a simple thing, really.
It is a simple thing, and people especially when you're busy, you can tend to neglect it. It can overcook, it can undercook, it can just not get the right char that it's supposed to be. And it's really more important than getting the perfect diamond is to get it just perfectly cooked.
And, you don't want to over-season. You don't want to make it too crazy. Right.
Now, I will say that on many of the steaks that you eat, there's always a sauce that goes with it.
Sure.
Yeah,
a lot of
whether
top it with mushrooms or
horseradish or one of my favorites, the filet, because filet mignon is probably the most tender of all cuts, but it's not the most flavorful.
Yeah, right.
You'll see a lot of times with a filet, a nice sauce, because you need something to go with that tenderness.
Yeah.
A Bernaise,
right.
A Bordelaise, a Marsala.
An A1. The list goes on.
Some of us live a different life. But I think that's the truth. And then you have a steak like what we're going to be ordering today, and that's the
outlaw ribeye.
I'm getting the outlaw ribeye. It's a 20-ounce ribeye.
And just to talk about Longhorn for a second, all right? Why I enjoy? Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm looking up. I am literally looking up.
Sorry, we don't want to interrupt them.
Someone has to be educated here.
So the reason why I enjoy Longhorn, honestly, is I get my steak fix, and reasonably priced. I mean, how much is this, Tom? Honestly,
It's not bad. 30.
for a 20 ounce.
That's pretty good.
For a 20-ounce bone-in ribeye, I'm happy about it. It gets the job done. You go to other like chain steakhouses, cheaper chain steakhouses, and they're just not as good. You know.
It starts with an S. Spinalis.
What are we talking about here?
The top muscle on the rib cut. You thought I was what, going on,
I didn't know
Wordle?
what tangent
You thought I was playing Wordle? Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you so
Careful,
much. That
it's
looks
very
great.
hot, okay?
Yes.
Enjoy.
All right, the spinalis. Okay, the spinalis is that top strap of meat that is on the top of the ribeye. One of my favorite pieces, and I see people online where they'll actually cut it and separate it from that and cook it as, especially when you have a whole roast.
Is it have good marbling that piece or no?
There is, and it's kind of more like a nice tender flank, but the way when it cooks on a ribeye with all that fat, to me, it's just the most tender part of the ribeye. And a lot of people, especially in a prime rib house, because there's so much fat around it, they leave that and never eat it.
Now, I'm in quite of a little bit of a, not pickle, predicament, I suppose. Now, see, I ordered my steak rare. And Tom over here went medium. Now, I'm hoping that mine just isn't sitting there while Tom's is
Perfectly cooked.
while they're burning Tom's.
I just want to say this.
Perfectly cooked.
Ask Michael Simon, how does he get his ribeye steaks cooked? He said that the ribeye cooks very good to cook it medium well. That was what he said.
Listen,
because of the
argument.
rendering, because of the amount of fat inside, it keeps it moist, and that char is what people like.
Yes, well, and I understand the fat breaking down softer, and that's very appealing. The fat. A lot of people don't eat fat though, which always kills me when they cut it off.
What kind of animal doesn't eat fat?
I don't know.
That's why my hair is the way it is after all these years.
Oh, greasy? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, 62, and I still got my hairline. And
I think I have more grace than you. I'm serious.
He's got more gray hair than me because I get my steaks cooked.
No, but
it's always the most glorious time when they bring us food. Thank you so much. That looks wonderful. Oh, that looks incredibly good.
Thank you. Here's another. See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't see from there, folks, but now see, Tom likes ketchup on his steak.
No, I don't. It's for my fries. I gotta sit here and explain myself.
Can you cut this steak into a shape of a dinosaur, please, for this man?
Hey, Matt, yours looks like it's up above rare right there. It probably was sitting under the heat lamp for a while. Now, the spinalis is this part right here. I want to show this on the rib cut.
We can't get away from the spinalis, folks. I tried, but we can't do it.
Here is the fat line, and it's this piece right along the top here. It's
really
one of my
favorite. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite cuts. It does cook because it's on the outside a little bit more well than unless you're Matt, then it's pretty much still making noise as a cow.
Now, here's another question I had for you.
Yeah.
When you cook a steak, I know the wise man, without the hubris, will always take a thermometer.
No.
But I wanted to ask you, you've been in the kitchen for years. How do you know? Is it a time thing? Is it a feel thing? It's mostly
a temperature. It is a temperature, and if you're new in the kitchen and you haven't cooked steaks like in abundance,
sure.
But if you're abundantly cooking steaks,
thank you so much.
Then I can tell you this: you know when it's done. You know the temperatures,
right?
Are you perfect every time that way? Probably.
Do you go by this rule of thumb?
It's just a feel that you get.
You just know.
Yeah, you just know. You can tell by the shrinkage. You can tell, can't you see by looking at them right now that mine is a little bit more condensed?
Yeah, you know what? Good point. Let's dig in.
Yeah, because I do want to talk about that, because we haven't talked about all the different steaks. This is a steak episode.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The first bite of a steak is a perfect bite.
Yeah, it is. Okay, you know what else is a perfect bite of a steak? Now, not all of you would do this, but I know Tom and I do. When you get, especially with a bone in, something with a bone, you pick that sucker up. And you eat it like corn on the cob. You get everything off. I do it with lamb, too.
I was taught never to waste.
Yeah. No, wasting, and we work in food service and seeing how much people waste, it hurts. It hurts.
Once you say, though, Matt, that your steak is not rare, that looks pretty much medium rare to me. It's tough to cook a rare steak and still get a good look on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say these parts I'm eating right now are closer to medium rare, but that is also why I like rare steaks, because if done wrong, it will be medium rare. And I love medium rare.
Which isn't so bad.
I love medium rare. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is you order medium rare and it comes out medium well.
I know. No, Tom, that's why I started doing this. Have you had that happen to you?
Yeah, because there's a lot of frustration. But I feel
and medium well is
that
too
one of the
much.
safest cuts to eat. Because
Wait a minute, that fat.
When I share a piece of my medium well with you, sometimes they cook it well. It's still good because it's the rib cut.
Yeah.
One of the things with steaks is, Matt talked about temperature. One of the big things right now is called reverse sears. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
There's a couple ways you can do a reverse sear, but the idea is that instead of the traditional way of taking a steak on a very hot iron or grill and searing it, and then kind of moving it to go slow to get it at the temperature you want, you do it in reverse. Whereas you sous vide it.
Oh, okay.
And you do it at a really low temperature,
and then
to bring it to 135,
super hot for the char,
or 125, and then super charred at the end to finish it.
I've actually made steaks that way.
I know a chef that we used to have out at Disney, an executive chef, who talked to me one time about cooking a steak for 8 hours at like 130 degrees or 135 degrees.
That sounds crazy, right?
And then he seared it at the end to make a perfect steak.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy in my book.
If you're just grilling a steak like this, you're not going to go crazy with marinades.
No.
Maybe if you're making like a taco or something, you'll marinate it, right?
If you wanted a certain flavor, like you were doing a Mexican
right
type party and you wanted to do something chimichurri.
Right.
I mean, there's ways that you can do it, and you do a short marinade. The worst thing you can probably ever do is put it in pineapple juice. I know a lot of people say, oh, I love steak in pineapple. Well, I do too.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Well,
doesn't the acidity?
You got to be careful. Pineapple juice will destroy a steak.
Yeah, so how do you do that?
Less time.
Not an overnight thing?
Not an overnight thing.
Huh.
Or a reduced amount of it
pineapple
for the load.
Who does that? Is
the
that
reason
like
being is pineapple has bromelain. Bromelain is an enzyme that breaks down things in our stomach. And that's why it's great and healthy, like after we're done eating this heavy meal, to have some pineapple juice or pineapple. It works very well. And it assists in the digestion of the steak. And don't get me wrong, I love a tenderloin pineapple kebab where you roast it, like Hawaiian style.
Right. Maybe I've had a kebab form. Wow.
Never longer than overnight. If you go longer than that, pineapple juice will break the meat down to where it affects the way the meat feels in your mouth.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it helps break down food in your stomach.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a great tasting. Just you gotta use it wisely.
Now, I know this isn't really the kind of steak we're eating, but what's your opinion on steak tartare?
Amazingly, I had it when I was younger in my years, when I was a young adult. And in the German community, we ate steak tartare a lot.
Really?
Yeah. What we would do is we would take a great cut of sirloin and we would grind it and go to the butcher and have it ground. You're not buying the Walmart tubular, that had got recalled.
Yeah, say a lot. Yeah.
You don't even know how old it is. You open it up. You open it up and it's green inside.
It's got that iridescence to it.
a lot of people got away from eating raw meat because,
Well, I heard that with ground beef.
well, the reason with ground beef is because E. coli is an outer bacteria.
And when you grind it,
When you grind it, you're now taking the outside and put it inside. And so that's
so
why
it's
you
wise
need
to kind of cook it.
to cook it to 155 or 160 just to make sure you kill everything.
But yeah, my experience with steak tartare, I like it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. It's not something that I need every day, but like when it's there, I'll eat it.
I've
enjoy
also,
it.
and mine's a perfect medium.
Comes
perfect.
with an accompaniment of quail egg a lot, doesn't it?
Um,
Every time I've had it, I had a quail egg.
no, I have mine more of a German style.
That's why
where
I think I was
It
surprised.
was
that you said it
ground
was German.
sirloin mixed with garlic and sometimes horseradish, where they make almost a pate out of it. And then we would take
out of the pate or out
out
of
of the ground beef.
Really?
And then we would take German rye bread.
Whoa. Oh,
German rye bread.
I love rye bread.
Spread it on there with pickled onions
interesting.
or onions, like shaved, thinly sliced onions and horseradish. And you would just eat it on the rye bread, like pate.
That sounds really interesting.
It was good.
You grew up eating this stuff?
I was a young adult, 18 or
Okay.
20 years old.
Yeah. Let's get that steak tartare, boys.
You'd be amazed. We had it at the bowling alley.
Oh, my God. You know, we had a great experience. Here. Nonchalantly mentioned the bone. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this meat.
You know, if I was eating at a very expensive restaurant, I would not have this bone in my hand.
Yeah, you know, isn't that unfortunate? Because like that's the best way to get at it.
Right.
Sometimes you know what I'll do, honestly, because I don't know. It's nice to
Can
have
you believe
proper
people
etiquette.
take this home for their dogs?
No. It's having etiquette is important, but I will say, if I'm out sometimes, I'll wait for no one to be looking. Maybe I'll have a corner booth like this. The waitresses are gone, the manager's in the back. Then you pick up the bone and start gnawing like a squirrel, get it all in.
That's what I'm doing right now, my friend.
On film. For the tens of viewers to see.
Thousands. Really good.
You know, I've just been craving a steak. I've been talking about it at work like crazy. It's been a long time since I had a steak. In fact, the last steak I had
Are you talking about
was
not?
wretched. Absolutely atrocious. And
And you're not talking about a one-bite piece of steak.
no.
This may not be graphically good for you all to be watching.
No, this is 18 plus. If you have small children, viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, but you got the Brussels sprouts. I got the salad. You know, a little give and take.
No doubt.
And I didn't really eat that gracefully at the end there, guys. Sorry, but you know what? If we got a show called The Perfect Bite, I'm going to make it a perfect bite for me personally. And a perfect bite for me is going in. And I'm going in.
Right. Hang on, lift that napkin up. I want you to show your plate. The juice is on my plate. I'm sorry.
No. Hold on a second.
The juice is on my.
Okay. I had a baked potato. I don't leave juices behind. I strategize on getting all my juices. Tom over here. Yeah, mine was juicy as sin. But anyway.
The varying steaks. We have
It's a great vegan dish.
the ribeye, tenderloin. We talked about that.
Porterhouse, T-bone. We're going to talk about the sarsaparilla again? The sarcophagus?
A lot of people don't know this, but there is the New York cut, New York loin, and you have a T-bone and you have a porterhouse.
Loin.
Now, the thing people don't realize is on a porterhouse and a T-bone, you have the New York on one side
Sure.
and the filet on the other. The difference between the two is the filet is larger on the porterhouse than it is on the T-bone. That's the only difference. It's further down on the animal. Or the
Wait a minute. So a T-bone has the same cuts on either side as well as a
yeah.
porterhouse?
When you look at the animal, that T-bone that runs that length, the larger side of it is where the porterhouses come from. Meaning the tenderloin and the New York are a larger cut. And then as you get to the more narrow side of it, you start getting the T-bones, which are smaller because the bone is coming down. And that's why there's a difference in price.
You know what, Josh? Maybe we can get a diagram
Yeah, that would be good, a diagram.
of a bovine, and we'll get all the different cuts.
This is not a college program, so I don't have to go into any more about all the different cuts of steaks. But I do love a hanger steak, which is one that I did recently that really came out great.
Tube steak.
Well, we did a tube steak episode. I love a nice flank steak.
Yeah, right.
However, I think today the ribeye is top notch.
Yeah. No, you know what, Tom? All seriousness.
Why start now?
No, the ribeye is always my bone-in, specifically ribeye, because that bone houses a lot of flavor when all the meat and fat that's adhered to it. But yeah, we really enjoyed our meal. And,
Yeah.
You know, well, I shouldn't say who doesn't like a steak. I know a lot of people don't like steak, but that ain't us. We love steak, and
I'm a beef lover. So far, we've done cheesesteak, burger.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've done a lot of
steak.
Yeah, steak, and we still have to do the Italian beef episode. I know that, but yeah, we definitely are beef eaters. I'll tell you that.
And with that, I think that's an episode, right, Tom?
That's it.
All right.
Another perfect bite in the can.
All right. See you next time, folks.
See you next time.
Keep that in, Josh. Josh is one of our magic makers backstage.
Yeah, Josh does a lot of our editing. Maybe you guys
About
don't know.
99.99999% of the editing.
He adds all the fill, all the extra graphics.
Sound effects coordinator.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Josh. Very much so. Switching gears.
Oh, also, I guess we have a soundtrack now. Oh, my God. Yeah. Someone has to be knowledgeable and professional.
I don't know what I'll tell you what. Since I took 50, you take 50. I'll leave the tip.
I don't think that's fair. I owe more.
I'll tell her to take 60 yet.
Oh, whoa.
I'm glad this is all on film.
Yeah, this could be the bloopers. The after end credits.